I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
Your wheels are important. Your left and your right, your wheels, they are very important, Tony. And you might have money. You might have a lot of money. You don't have John Madden money, man. You do not have John Madden money.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for the In or Out sports debate with your hosts,
the real Dwayne Allen of the Wrestling Realm
and Drew Willingham.
Hello, everyone. We are live for episode 74 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I am your host, Drew, along with this week's special returning panelist. He is part of the Wrestling Realm, a man who sold so many shirts and apparel with his own brand faster than people can even sell their own house. My man from the TRDA brand, the real Dwayne Allen. Welcome back, brother.
Thanks, man. Listen, I'm happy to be here because the struggle is real to be awesome. Did I say it right? Did I miss it? What is it?
No, you said it fantastically.
Okay,
it definitely
perfect,
is. The struggle is real to be awesome. And thank you for plugging that for the video brand, man. And
absolutely.
Speaking of brands,
yes, sir.
You know, you like I said in the intro, your TRDA brand has been taking off pretty well there, sir. And I even was talking with you about it in the green room before we got started. You know, how I was mad jelly about the fact that I go to buy it. Everything is sold out. My man's got this apparel right here, all this stuff. I was just trying to get a TRDA hoodie. Gone. Gone so fast. Faster than when people sell their house. Congratulations on the jump start there in 2022, bro.
Thanks, man. It was I definitely took a risk, took a leap of faith, and I couldn't be more happy, man. But trust me, the restock is. I'm trying to get everything moving and running soon, so we can get things back up and running on a more consistent basis. So I appreciate your support, brother.
Hey, anytime. Next wave, I'm jumping in on that. So we'll definitely touch base on that at the end of the show. But again, you know, Dwayne is part of the Wrestling Realm with Brother Hugh and Brian H., who are also part of the Vault of Fame, the Wrestling Realm that you can find on YouTube and Patreon and many other platforms as well. Check them out at their Patreon site right here for Wrestling Realm, as well as their shopping now at WrestlingRealm.com. You can check out their apparels with what they have, as well as what Dwayne has for the TRDA brand. But speaking of our guys here for the Vault of Fame, we've got to acknowledge that, just like we do in every beginning of the episode. Let's go ahead and check that out.
Acknowledge me.
Man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, which you can check out here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, and the latest on LegacyMakerSports.com. You can check out the In or Out Sports Debate on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the audio platforms listed here on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can download them individually on iTunes. The struggle is real to be awesome, as the real Dwayne Allen said, which you can find here on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the YouTube channel coming soon, and the latest on SIRTOBA.com. We are back for episode 74 with the one and only the real Dwayne Allen. Again, thank you again, brother, for being here on this episode, as we have got plenty of shenanigans in store for this episode. And,
Yes!
You know, I know you're ready to rock and roll, and we've got a great one here. And with that being said, let's go ahead and take this into the first round, see what we got in store for that one.
Round 1.
And here with round 1, Stephanie McMahon was nothing more than a placeholder for Vince's inevitable return. Based on this graphic that you see here and everything that we know within the media there, Dwayne, how do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out?
Man, as much as I hate to say it, I am in. Look, the reality is we all knew that Stephanie McMahon was most likely going to be a placeholder. Don't get me wrong. As fans, we were all happy when Vince McMahon retired and we saw Stephanie McMahon take his place as co-CEO of WWE. But let's be real. They knew they had media deals and television deals coming up, and they were going to need their strongest, most fierce negotiator when it comes to the finances, especially the lifeblood of WWE. So it seems like, as much as we didn't want to believe it, it almost seemed like it was inevitable. They just wanted to make sure that McMahon was sitting in that seat until Papa McMahon eventually made his triumphant return. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. I wanted you to feel the sarcasm in my delivery. Did I accomplish that, Drew?
Oh, you did. I felt it.
Good.
Just like they're going to feel mine when I say that I'm in as well. Come on, guys. He had majority of the shares within the company still, 70% of voting power. He can vote himself back in, brings in 2 members of the board, kicks out those other 2 that were to bring those spots in, to bring in the yes people. So that way, whenever Vince McMahon wants something, yes, he's going to get it. Now, when you say the fact that Triple H is still ahead of creative and Vince is just going to take care of the business side of it, and you think about how all that's going to play into perspective, and we'll get into that with our final round that we have here. But Stephanie McMahon was like pretty much like, well, what am I going to do? I'm pretty much just, I'm expendable at this point. Like, you got Nick Khan and me as co-CEOs. Might as well just have a CEO. I might as well retire and be with the kids who are like in teenage years and can have more of an impact with them than she would within their own company. So be at home. Triple H is already part of creative for now. But Triple H did hold that meeting backstage. SmackDown said this, Dwayne. He said that, of course, nothing's going to change creative process-wise. Day-to-day operations will not change for anybody within their own positions. However, he did say at the end of it that anything can change. So if anything can possibly change because Vince is in charge again.
That's the scary part. And I think that's what we were all worried about. I will be diving into that. See, crazy part is this is how good you are, Drew. That's literally the topic of the Wrestling Realm as we record tomorrow. That's the main event of our show. We're going to talk about that one aspect where Triple H made it very clear. This is the way it is right now. But that right now is very, very vicious because when you got a shark like Vince McMahon, and we don't know what that old man is thinking. We don't know if he's jealous. We don't know if he's really there to even conduct these business protocols only. He wasn't ready to leave when he decided to, but we'll see what's next. I'm curious to see what happens, but for the love of God, everyone cross your fingers. We're hoping that nothing changes creatively because Vince McMahon, it's time to retire.
I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say about that in tomorrow night's episode. And it is definitely time to retire for Vinnie Mac. I mean, of course, when you own the company and have done what you've done for over 4 decades, whether, for the majority of the time, you did an excellent job and you made the landscape and the foundation of what professional wrestling is, or at least sports entertainment for professional wrestling. Maybe not the professional wrestling. You took professional wrestling, took it to another level, the sports entertainment aspect of it. But there's other companies that are doing certain aspects of pro wrestling better, even though, and I've watched Wrestling Realm, and you've said it on several occasions, it is hard for you to focus your energy into AEW. Because
not for the whole show, it's tough.
Not enough there's not enough that's been compelling you to watch the show. So I've seen that with what you've said, and it might not be directly in the context, but I'm picking up what you're throwing down, brother. But I am a fan of AEW for the pure pro wrestling aspect of it. Like, since they brought in Bryan Danielson, it was huge. With what happened with CM Punk, it could be a huge ultimate work if he ends up coming back in 2023, because if I remember right, his contract still hasn't been terminated by AEW.
True. Don't get me wrong. I mean, AEW has its bright spots, and I love the fact of what AEW stands for. I just think I've experienced an alternative that was better, so I'm a bit biased behind it. Well, Ring of Honor and 2015-ish, 16, 17. This was something special for me. And it was around the time where I was kind of giving up on the WWE product that McMahon was trying to shove down our wrestling fan throats as it was. But the things with the aspects that they've added, don't get me, CM Punk was a good moment. That moment when he first came to AEW is going to go down in one of the greatest moments in professional wrestling history. The problem is it just didn't hold up, and maybe Moxley was right. I think CM Punk ended up writing checks that his body just couldn't cash.
It's just a shame when you think about the gold they had with this.
You may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it.
Amazing.
CM Punk should have been the one to drop the title to MJF in that moment. And when we watch it all unfold as it did,
right,
the way he got the title, that was meant for him to get that from CM Punk, the way that storyline was going. He probably would have got it at the exact same time that he did. It would have just been CM Punk dropping the belt to him at the time that it happened.
I think MJF needed that. I think he did. He needed that. Like CM Punk's still a huge name, whether you like him or not. There's no denying his place in professional wrestling history, and having Punk drop the title to him after the exchanges that they had that were always explosive. I think that was, at the end of the day, it wasn't meant to be, obviously, but yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Drew.
But the reason why I bring up AEW during this first round topic is because of the rumors that they had with Saudi Arabia potentially buying the company, and then AEW and Tony Khan potentially buying the company, because they can get their hands on more money if necessary to purchase it, which would be huge for them to buy Ring of Honor and WWE within a calendar year, which would be nuts to even consider that.
Right.
But I don't think this, when it comes to the sale of this company, if Vince even sells the company, is it's going to drag out through this entire calendar year because their media rights deal negotiations go on through this year because it expires in 2024. 2024 is going to be a huge year in professional wrestling for WWE, for AEW, because you got several contracts, big contracts within AEW expiring. You got TV media rights deals for WWE with Fox and Peacock, as well as AEW's ones with TNT and TBS.
Wow. See, Drew, this is this is why you're the guy, because this show is unlike any other show. I didn't even realize when you put it all that way. I did not. First of all, you're talking about the lifeblood of professional wrestling, period, since the beginning of time. We're talking Jim Crockett Promotions. We're talking Turner, Time Warner, and Turner, and we're also talking about WWE. The media is the lifeblood of any professional wrestling organization that we experience now. So the fact that you had all these things on both sides adding up, both TV deals are up soon. A lot of big name contracts are up. 2024 is going to be one. I know we just got in 2023, but 2024 is going to be one of those years. I didn't even realize that, brother. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. This is why I came on the show. I'm so happy to be here because I would have never realized that if you didn't bring it to my attention. That's unreal.
Hey, man, when you think about that, and I've played a lot of this game. When you play this game and you think of stats, this game in itself with Jeopardy helps you keep that mind fresh, and for some reason the useless knowledge within wrestling is there. The shenanigans have begun, brother. So
let them continue. I'm all for Jeopardy. Listen, I got so many good memories hearing that. My grandma used to always watch it, and she used to make me watch it with her, like randomly in the evening time, because I couldn't watch TV myself.
Same here, like going off subject, but like one of the last things I did with my grandmother, she was passing away, was watching Jeopardy, because like that was
beautiful
her show.
moment, man.
She was pretty out of it with everything that was going on, but she knew like in there what was going on, what I was doing. I was bringing in Jeopardy to rekindle into those young memories and stuff. So just like you said with your grandma, like that's a huge thing, a family bonding thing that we had with Jeopardy and Alex Trebek. It is not the same, even though it's still good. It's still not the same.
Come on, man. Soul Brothers. That was a touching moment. I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Same here, man. It is definitely great. And with sharing stuff, we got a lot more things to share with opinions as well. Let's go ahead and take this into round 2 and see what we got in store for some football action.
Round 2.
And with round 2, and with this one especially, we've got Dak Prescott is an elite quarterback after leading the Cowboys to victory over the Bucs in the wild card game. How do you feel about this one, Dwayne? Do you agree with the statement? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Out. why are we awarding people the title of an elite quarterback after winning one wild card playoff game and who knows how long? Don't get me wrong. Once again, I misunderstood. I understand that the Dallas Cowboys at one point in time was America's football team, but that was a very, very long time ago. And we know Cowboys Nation is one of the most intense and annoying fan bases, but don't get me wrong. I like Dak Prescott. I think he's an amazing quarterback, but elite is a different type of title. Is an elite, really, really good. Elite, nah, not yet. I just don't see it. No, I'm sorry. It's not there yet.
With his stats that he had yesterday, you still don't see him.
That was one game. It was one game. I think he's really, really good, but you have to do something to solidify yourself deep into the postseason to be considered elite at least one time. This one game doesn't show up for me. I'm sorry.
I know, and as much as I want to agree with you on this one, I really do, because this is a team that is against my formerly known as REDSKINS in the NFC East. With that being said, I know I gotta disagree with you. I'm in. Dak won Dakota Prescott. Definitely is an elite quarterback. And when I think of this, and to play for a team known as the Dallas Cowboys, with the mediocre management in and out of the office, and especially on the field with Mike McCarthy, who got that Super Bowl in Green Bay thanks to one Aaron Rodgers. And you got all of the question marks around them. Tony Pollard had 77 yards, 50 more than Zeke yesterday. And you think about what Dak did with 305 yards and 4 touchdowns against the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And when you speak about one, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II, gotta put some spec on his name, just like Birdman said on the Breakfast Club back in the day. Put some spec on his name. If you want a little Birdman spec on his name, hot sauce, let me know. I'll send you the link. Spec on his name. Put it on his name. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II sure is right now. You know he is, because he's sitting there at home, divorcee, going through the offseason, trying to decide if he, the one, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II, coming back the next season, which we'll get to that in the bonus topic. But back to one Dakota whatever Prescott, forgot his middle name, because some of you out there are saying this to me right now.
Would you please shut the hell up?
And get back on topic. I know, as I'm here talking about Dakota Prescott. He threw for 305 yards yesterday. 4 touchdowns, did not turn the ball over, which is huge in a playoff game of the magnitude of which it was on the road in Tampa Bay. The Cowboys came into this 12-5, a respectable record, even though I was giving them so much shizer for losing in the way that they did to the formerly known as REDSKINS the previous week, 26-6. But when I put it all into perspective, Tom Brady has not had an offensive line all year and just limped into the playoffs at an 8-9 record and won the NFC South by default because the other 3 teams were tied for last place at 7-10. So the Cowboys did not have a stellar matchup, but the real test is going to be this upcoming week when they play the 49ers in the divisional game. If they lose to the 49ers in the way that they just beat the Buccaneers, then I retract everything I said.
That's right. They're going to take it back.
But, and I'll give you your receipts then, and I'll eat crow or whatever you want to say at that point. When it comes to between then and now, though, for him to come into a playoff game on the road against Tom Brady and all the hype, everything that we were listening to, even myself was throwing on that game throughout the week. Doubt he was listening to me, but I know he was listening to ESPN. And if he listened to ESPN and all the other hype, he used that negativity as fuel to get the victory, and it sure did show with how he performed last night.
Drew, where does Dak Prescott fall in line with the Cowboys quarterback history? Exactly. There's a brief pause. You see that? You just took a deep breath. There's a reason you took a deep breath. I'm just not ready to give Dak Prescott credit for beating an old divorced Tom Brady. That doesn't count. Now, if you were Patrick Mahomes and you beat him in his prime or something like that, that's a different story for me. But it's just, listen, I don't blame Dak Prescott. I really don't. But it's like, and I don't blame the fact that we don't consider him elite his fault either. But the reality is, as a quarterback, quarterbacks are make their names in the NFL based off their stats, based off their performances, and also based off what they win. And I'm like, okay, listen, I appreciate the fact that for once the Dallas Cowboys had a positive ending to a season and it didn't end dismally and they won a playoff game. Great. But do I consider him an elite quarterback because of the circumstances that he's in? Granted, not in his control, but at the end of the day, am I ready to do that just yet? Maybe next round. But beating old, decrepit, divorced Tom Brady, I'm just not ready to do so yet, Drew. Just not ready.
How are you going to talk about one? Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
Like you said it yourself. That man is in a house not knowing what to do with himself. He wants to play football. He's got no kids. There's no wife in the house. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He wants to play right now. That's all he has now. Like FTX went under. He lost a lot of money from crypto. I mean, and there's a lot on his mind. He's the greatest of all time. He has nothing to lose at this point. At this point, he's collecting a paycheck. He's still Tom Brady. Put some butts in the seats, sell some jerseys. So the Cowboys finally beat Tom Brady in Tampa, as you say. And now I'm supposed to just crown Dak Prescott an elite quarterback in the NFL. I'm like, where do you fall in line in Cowboys history? Because you beat old, decrepit Tom Brady? I don't know, Drew. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it's too early to say so for me.
There's a meme that I cannot wait to unveil. And you know what? Actually, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold off strong because I'm gonna wait till the bonus round to do that. But
got it.
Just so you guys know, it is tough for me to hold off right now because I want to show it right now. But anyway, we've definitely covered Dak Prescott pretty well, guys. Let us know in the comments how you feel about this subject and the previous one with the first two rounds. Before we go into round 3, though, we got some breaking news we got to cover. And that breaking news is this. Next Monday, 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time, the 75th edition of the In or Out Sports Debate, episode 75. Next week, Monday, January 23rd, 7:05 p.m. Eastern, with Joey Raymond as he returns for the 75th edition of the In or Out Sports Debate. We've covered 2 great topics so far within this show. Let's keep it going with what we got with round 3. Take it back to some professional wrestling.
Round 3.
And here with round 3, Bray Wyatt's storyline will not surpass the Bloodline as WWE's best in 2023. How do you feel about this, The Realist? Do you agree with this one? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Brother, I am in. Listen, the Bloodline is something of a completely different animal than Bray Wyatt. Don't get me wrong. Bray Wyatt is rooted in fiction, but the Bloodline, there's always a touch of truth there. When you look at the direct descendants of the Samoan wrestling dynasty and what they're doing today, they have found a way to pay homage to their family, their ancestors, and all those that have come before them, as well as use their previous wrestling history, as well as their childhoods, and incorporated that into a storyline that is carried almost into 3 years going now. It's something about when you can add truthful elements in real life situations to these stories that kind of captivate the audience, because there's other proof that we can relate to based off what we're saying. Now, don't get me wrong, Bray Wyatt is one heck of a storyteller, and I think his mind is going to go as far as they're going to allow him to go. But it's still all rooted in fiction. These are new things that he's coming up with. These are new characters. These are new concepts. These are new ways of displaying and telling stories that we've never seen before in professional wrestling. But the Bloodline will always get the edge because of that small and subtle, or should I say less than subtle, touch of reality that is the underlying curve for what we enjoy so much about the situation. Think about when it started. When Jimmy Uso was out because of knee surgery, Jey Uso held it down with Roman Reigns. Roman came back and he had to get one cousin in line. There was a conflict there. It's because it reminded them of their childhood, how Roman Reigns was always the big brother. He was always the one telling them what to do. And in this situation, he had to convince his younger cousin that this is what's best for me, but it's also what's best for us and our family. It's my responsibility now to make sure that you eat and that our family eats. You need to become the right-hand man. And then as the story evolved, when Jimmy comes back, he wasn't so sold on it as when he said, bro, listen, we've been doing this since we was kids. We grown now. We don't got to deal with Roman. But he was convinced to, you know what? Either you're with me or you're against me. and he was going to hurt his cousin again just to get Jimmy's attention. And when they all became on the same page, they went and they got someone that had direct history with their family in Paul Heyman. And he became Roman Reigns' personal wise man, his consultant for a lot of different situations. You add Solo Sikoa, you add Sami Zayn, and the story has blossomed into so much more organically. And I think that's the key. It's organic. It seems like the story for so long has written itself, especially anything that Vince McMahon's fingers have touched. If there's one thing he did right, was he allowed Roman to be himself, and he allowed the bloodline to kind of use and incorporate their family history into something that's far beyond anything we could have ever imagined. So there you have it.
You bring some great points with that, and it's tough because depending on what day you ask me, I'm back and forth with this because
really, I'm interested.
If they shortened his entrance, because his entrance is like bathroom break worthy, like his entrance like 10 minutes and 2 minutes of a promo.
I think it does that to be a heel.
But with what they're doing so far with the Bloodline characters and everything within that storyline, that's why I've got to disagree with this. I'm in on this as well. The reason why I say at some point that I would go back and forth, depending on what day you would ask me, is the pure fan in me. And we were covering this in so many episodes last year on this show and on other guest spots that I had where I was talking about I really wanted Bray Wyatt to come back. And we didn't know when or if at some points he was going to come back because of all the news and media and the rumors and all the stuff that was coming out about him, potentially going to another brand like Impact or AEW or something, which I never took that too seriously anyway. But with how he's come back and the way he's come back with this whole Uncle Howdy character, which a lot of want to say is more than likely played by his brother Bo Dallas because he has been cleared to wrestle again. And that could be huge for the Wyatt Six and all the other stuff that's coming back. If we see a pure evolution of the Wyatt Six with multiple characters that he's playing through a schizophrenic character or whatever, where he's going back to old Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and then whatever this is today, and then the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, and all those different things. If he plays a lot within the smoke and mirrors, and we have something similar to, if not better than the Firefly Funhouse, because I, as somebody who's wearing the Firefly Funhouse shirt, will tell you, huge fan, Bray Wyatt, huge fan of. But when I weigh the pros and cons and can, put them all and compare and contrast everything. And I think about what Roman Reigns has done over the last 2 years with his character, the evolution of that Bloodline storyline, bringing in Solo Sikoa was huge. This whole thing with Sami Zayn is going to be interesting how that pans out. If you let him stay within the Bloodline and he becomes from an honorary Uce to a legit Uce and we see how that plays out, I think they'll have gold and they'll go throughout 2023 as the best storyline. But if they drop the ball with Sami Zayn because of how over he is since he's gone to the Bloodline, and if they drop the ball with that, I feel like that ball is going to be picked up by Bray Wyatt, and this time next year we'll be talking about him as the best storyline for 2024.
You know what? When you put it that way, I'm intrigued. See, this is the best part about this because it gives me something as a fan to look forward to. After a while, we've been watching so much professional wrestling. You can get to a point where you feel like you can kind of predict where certain things are going based off the previous parameters that were put in place creatively. But underneath Triple H and his new creative regime, as of right now, it seems like they're starting to go places that they usually wouldn't have gone before. And hey, you might be right. My only thing with Bray Wyatt is they take so long to get to these points. I feel like they started out strong and it seemed like they just began to drag. Now I know it's intentional, but I think the casual wrestling audience today has very less patience than they did maybe 5-10 years ago. It's because it's how we consume media, right? We get everything at the snap of a finger, and it's like, does the wrestling audience, at least not the 25%, which is us, but the mainstream wrestling audience, do they have the patience to stick this out? And it goes back to what you said. Hey, what if the payoff isn't what we expect it to be? Hopefully it's something that's big enough where it can climax into kind of reestablishing Bray Wyatt and then going to another place. Because to me, I don't think we even have his character yet. This is like, if this is a paragraph, this is just the intro. We haven't even got to the body, and we dang sure haven't got to the conclusion. But it definitely has this potential to go further than the Bloodline. The Bloodline happened to me, it seemed like on an accident, and then blossomed into something wonderful. But I'm curious to see what they do with Bray Wyatt. That's very, very intentional. So I mean, I was scanning QR codes and looking for stuff at work while I'm supposed to be working. I'm looking for clues, all kind of things. I've never been pulled into a wrestling show that way. So hey, this time next year, Drew, you never know.
I think when it comes to another part of Vince wanting to come back is he knows that the Roman Reigns character has been the biggest character he's put together in several years.
Oh yeah,
since John Cena, because Randy Orton was part of the lineage within the Orton family, but people took so much to John Cena, and now they're doing the same thing with Roman Reigns. I think that, along with the Bray Wyatt situation, might be inflating Vince's ego, but not so much Bray Wyatt, because he let Bray Wyatt walk.
That's
but
true.
Roman Reigns has still been his number one for the last half decade. So, but primarily over the last now 3 years or so, since he's actually known what to do with that character, because the other part of that half decade, he was doing a horrible job with how he was representing him. Suffering Succotash and everything else that we had from Roman Reigns was an absolute dumpster fire. But when it comes to Bray Wyatt's storyline, will not surpass the Bloodline as the best. I got to agree with the realist, because it's going to be tough. As a fan of Bray Wyatt, I want to say yes, but I really like Roman Reigns' work too. And then just putting it all aside and actually calling it for what it is, unless they really drop the ball with Sami Zayn, they're going to win it again. So, but guys, we've gone through the halfway point of the show. We got to see what the comments are from the fans at this point. Let's go ahead and step into the medial mayhem and see what those fans got to say right quick. Comments from the fans time. We got a decent amount of comments. Thank you guys for stepping inside the funhouse. With that being said, Ricky is here on Facebook saying 74. Yes, it is, Rick. And when it gets to the bonus round, I'll give you your receipts for Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II, as you called me out on Facebook earlier today. So thank you, Rick. I'll acknowledge you. It's coming on the second half of the show. Ike Doesn't Give a Fuck is here. Our number one fan of the last dozen or episodes or so. Ike is here, and with that being said, he has his own entrance as well.
Ike doesn't give a fuck. Fuck.
Doesn't that sound like a Disturbed song? Yeah, it sounds like a Disturbed song. And Ike has his own name, his own entrance. So there you go, Ike. Welcome back to the show for keeping it with the shenanigans. Melvin Turismo is here and says, yo! Well, welcome back there, Melvin. Thank you for watching the show. Ike then comes back with nice jugs in round one.
Wow. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you for that. Hopefully she can handle the truth, because if not, Jack Nicholson's coming at it.
You can't handle the truth!
Sorry, Steph. But that is what Ike said. I didn't say it, neither did the realist. Ike said it. And Melvin comes back again with for sure on the rack. So thank you, Melvin, for agreeing with Ike. Dak is not an elite quarterback, Drew. Even DWAYNE is... Bishop Bullwinkle speaking on my head.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, to the no.
And that's not for you, Ike. That's for me to say to you. So thank you, Ike, for that, as I got to play Bishop Bullwinkle here. So I appreciate that. Yes, he is, Ike, says Melvin. And even though I don't like the Cowboys, I got to acknowledge Melvin's comment. Thank you, Michigan State crowd, for channeling your inner Daniel Bryan, aka
I missed the yes
Bryan
chance.
Danielson. I do too. They're not. They try to do it in AEW, but they're not as impactful as they were in WWE.
Sure.
So, preach. Thank you, Melvin. I did. And Bray Wyatt's entrance is way too long. It most certainly is. It really is. Because if not, if you don't understand this, Bray, The Rock's going to come back, whether it's Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, pull you to his side. Say this.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Because classic. A 10-minute entrance, 10-minute entrance. It's long enough to go to the bathroom, grab some popcorn, and get back to your seat before you even step foot in the ring. Like, come on. Come on, Bray.
It is rather long.
Thank you, guys. It is. It most certainly is. But, guys, thank you for the comments here for the halfway point of the show. We're going to go ahead and keep this thing coming. Go ahead and bring those comments on in. We'll acknowledge them here at the end of the show. With that being said, let's go ahead and take this to the round 4, the By the Numbers segment, and see what we got in store for that.
Round 4.
And here for round 4, Bruce Matthews is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 74 in all of sports history. How do you feel about this, Dwayne? Do you agree with the statement? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I am 100% in. First and foremost, you're talking about 19 seasons with one organization, from Houston to Tennessee. I'm almost speechless. First of all, he played every position online. Like, he played every single, and at one point, he was even a long snapper for a punter. I mean, when you're talking about longevity, you're talking about third most played games in NFL history. I'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that wore the number 74 better than Bruce Matthews. I'm trying to contemplate, because I looked it up. I said, well, wait, let me double-check for a second. I don't want to be biased. Let me figure it out. But when you look at all that he accomplished and the amount of time as far as longevity, the positions he played, even in coaching, he coached in Tennessee and he coached in Houston. Like, he stayed loyal to one franchise or some variation of that franchise or shift of it, neither here nor there. But listen, if anybody can find anybody that wore that number better than Bruce Matthews, please let me know, because I haven't seen one. First of all, 19 seasons in the NFL. And then you're talking about 19 seasons with one franchise, even when there was a regional shift and change. Unbelievable. I mean, they don't make them like that used to. These guys last 4, 5, 6 years and they're done. But we're talking 19 seasons. First of all, it's already an accolade to survive 19 seasons in the NFL. And I'm talking about back when he played, it wasn't as many rules as it is now. Right. But for him to have that long of a career with one franchise, to be able to accomplish what he's able to accomplish, there's not much of an argument here. 100%
in. You bring some compelling
Drew,
arguments.
You seem conflicted. Come on now. I got to hear this. Here we go.
I am so conflicted. First of all, before I get started, shout out to Latina and Callie for jumping in the chats and for watching this show, which I'll acknowledge your comment here at the second half when we acknowledge the comments at the end of the show. Latina and Callie saved me when I had COVID back in October with elderberry syrup. And I can't say it enough. Get elderberry syrup if you get the COVID. Brings your taste buds, smell, and all that stuff back a lot quicker. Thank you, Latina and Callie. Got to give you a plug as you're watching the show. Now, back to what I was saying and the disagreement in this statement, because I am out. My man Dwayne Allen brings some compelling arguments to the table, and probably one of the best debates for a round 4 by the numbers topic in itself. But when I think about the best to ever wear the mother father in 74, okay, the mother father in 74, Dwayne, and you think about it as you sit there looking stoic and thinking about it, I'm telling you right now, as I look into 74, there's 2 people that are better than Bruce Matthews. Number 1, and this is in second place, not number 1 overall, but in second place above Bruce Matthews for the best to ever wear 74 is Merlin Olsen, who spent 15 years with the LA Rams, 6-time first-team All-Pro, 1964, 66 through 70. 4-time second-team All-Pro, 63, 65, 73, and 74. 14-time Pro Bowler. And yes, Bruce Matthews did get 14 Pro Bowlers. Is part of the Hall of Fame. And I give you all of that. And with what he did and meant to the organization known as the Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans, whatever it evolved to in the time frame that he was there. But the number 1 person to wear 74 not only surpassed both of them, but is a Super Bowl champion there, Dwayne. Something that Bruce could not do. And that is Bob Lilly of the Dallas Cowboys, which, again, it makes me sick to even acknowledge the Cowboys twice on this show. But I have to. I got to give credit where it's due historically. It was 74. Bob Lilly, Dallas Cowboys, 14 seasons, Super Bowl champion, 7-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 11-time Pro Bowler, part of the 1960s and 1970s All-Decade team. And keep in mind, he only played the first 4 years of that decade. And he was still part of the All-Decade team. Part of the NFL 75th and NFL 100th all-time anniversary team. Of course, he's part of the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor. He was a consensus All-American in college and a 2-time All-SWC Player of the Year in 1959-1960. So when I think about the impact that he had for over 2 decades in the game of football, and I hate to acknowledge Dallas Cowboys, but I got to give it to Bob Lilly. I'm sorry, Dwayne.
Drew, you cheated with the Super Bowl thing. That's not fair. This is exactly why I said this, because you just used my whole argument that I had to get Dak Prescott against me. That's not fair. It's hard to argue with accolades of success. You know what I mean? It's at this point you kind of argue logistics. So there's nothing for me to argue when you look at those numbers, and when you talk about Bob Lilly, first of all, he's impacted the game, longevity as well. But it's in football, we always judge football players by Super Bowl championship wins. And I'd be lying right now if I didn't say that doesn't make a difference. The only Merlin Olsen is another one. I don't think I would have put him ahead against over Bruce Madsen, but it's almost the same thing. But I'll say this. At this point, the argument becomes what was more tougher, football in the 70s or football in the 80s and professional? And that's just that's a whole show in itself, because it's okay, well, in the 70s, those guys were still working part-time. I think those guys still had regular jobs while they were playing professional football. You know what I mean? Versus the decade, the 80s, the NFL it began to evolve a little bit more in regard to it, not necessarily to a full-time sport, but close to it. But like I said, at that point, you're measuring apples and oranges, and that's a generational conversation. So I'm stuck, man. You got me. That was a good one. See, I'm glad I was episode number 74, because that was a good one.
It definitely was. That was one of we've had some great debates on here with the by the number segment since I brought it in here about 50 so episodes ago. But that was one of my favorite ones right there. You came in here with your notes ready. You were rock and rolling, and I just threw out there Bob Lilly. And even though it might have been a cheat code because of Super Bowl, I'm sorry. Had to throw it out there, bro.
Yeah,
had to.
I get it. I would have done the same. I would have done the same thing. So it's I would have done the same thing. I can't be mad.
Now, before we go into our final 2 topics, we got to show a little bit of a promo for something that Dwayne is pretty hype about, as well as some of our other guests on here. It's been advertised on Snowman in the Morning, on this show, and on several shows as well. Go ahead and check out this promo, and you'll see what it is with a little Easter egg at the end.
LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Acknowledge me. You should know your role and shut your mouth!
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. The hype is over. 7 days from today. Episode 1 of the Kayfabe Express launches at 7:05 p.m. Eastern, January 24th, with our first ever guest, Jay Bougie of the independent wrestling scene, who the real Dwayne Allen knows quite well as well through the wrestling realm in itself. So Dwayne is hype. Dude, I am hype. After all this time, it is finally here. Thank you to everybody else who's tuned in for the hype, who's rooted me on, who's been a part of it, because without you guys, this whole first real wrestling show to the Legacy Maker Sports Network would not be possible without the fans.
Man, I am so excited, man. I'm so proud. I'm so happy that this is finally coming to fruition, man. You've worked really, really hard to get things to this point, and I cannot wait. If anybody who knows me, when I speak about you, Drew, it's second to none. I think just the format that you have, and you're really good at, you're a one-man band. Your talent is far beyond people that they know right now. But I give it a short while. People are going to know exactly how talented you are. And I'm looking forward to this. I know the wrestling community needs a show like they can. we have plenty of shows like this, you know what I mean? And especially with how much you incorporate into the in or out sports debate, man. But this is just the next level, as you can tell, to build your network, man. So congratulations to you, sir. Congratulations, and everything that you're doing with Keyfabe Express and everything with in or out sports debate, man. But I'm excited. Like, if you can't tell, I'm more than happy that this is actually coming into play now. So I'm looking forward to it.
I appreciate the support there, brother, and especially from the fans, because everything I do is like, even though the productions and the shows I'm a part of with this and with Kayfabe Express, like I'm the main one that does everything. Like this network with LegacyMaker Sports Network has a lot of different things going on with it, between the live sports events covering college basketball, football, professional basketball. Like we got people in several different areas. And we got people that have their own strong suits. Mine happens to be with the video production game, and I've done the other things that they're doing too, and I'm decent at it. But this is where I shine at, and I love bringing in new people each week, a rotation of people with this show in general, having return guests like yourself on here, and other panelists, and with what we're going to be able to do with Kayfabe Express and have different guests on within the world of professional wrestling. Definitely looking forward to it. Looking forward to learning some things within the business, but also give them the platform to explain their background and what led them to what they do now, what they love the most. So
that's awesome.
Thank you all for being part of that. And, the Wrestling Realm, I love watching that on Wednesdays. And you guys are, you keep up with what's going on in sports and give news. This is like, to me, like my idea of like a one-on-one show, but just all wrestling based. Like, nothing else outside of it. Bringing someone that could be someone that works behind the scenes, could be a producer, a road agent. It could be a broadcaster within the world of wrestling, like you guys too, like in your shows. Anything within wrestling to talk wrestling, their backgrounds and what led them to what they are passionate about today, just like with what I'm passionate about here. That is what I'm looking forward to bringing across with the Kayfabe Express. So the hype is over. This is the most I've told you guys about it. It's coming a week from today. Thank you all for waiting ever so patiently. So, guys, we are here. We've gone through 4 rounds. We've gone through another announcement here for Kayfabe Express. We've got another round or two to go through. And first, let's go ahead and go through the bonus round for that one. And with this bonus round, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II should retire after the embarrassing loss to the Cowboys last night. How do you feel about this topic, Dwayne? Do you agree with the statement? Are you in or are you out?
Drew, I am in. It's time to hang it up, Tom. Tom. Man, it's been a rough couple of years for you, man. I know it's a lot going on. I know you're watching the show. That's why I'm talking to you directly. But it seems as if the world doesn't want your legacy to be tarnished. We all know that it's always hard to say goodbye. And it's hard to hang up the cleats once and for all. You've had such a Hall of Fame career, and you're arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, between what you've accomplished individually and as well as championships. You left an entire franchise and you won a Super Bowl at another franchise. You have nothing else left to prove. After that, I don't want to say that you don't have it anymore, because you'll always have some part of who Tom Brady is left in you. But you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. That's all I'm saying, Tom. It's time. It's time to let it go, man. It's time to walk away with your head held high. You have nothing else to prove.
Dwayne, for the sake of debate, for the sake of thinking strongly about this, and part of me wants to agree with you and say in, but we are here on the In or Out Sports Debate. It is time. It is time to debate you and go out. Been waiting all day for this, Dwayne. Been waiting all day to talk about one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. It's coming, bro. It is coming.
What?
Said it's coming.
What?
100% sure that I am ready to bring it.
What?
Yes, Stone Cold.
What?
Stop wanting me.
What?
I know you can't help it, but I'm going to bring the fire right now when talking about one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. Look at his career. Look at his career and what he's done. He's 45. And yes, his numbers did go down this year, but the team was not what it was the year before. With what this team had, he still threw 3 less interceptions in the entire year. He had 9 interceptions this year, had 12 the year before that, and 12 the year before that. So he's taking care of the ball better. And he had 102 rating of quarterback QBR the year before and in 2020 when he won the Super Bowl. It did drop 12 points to 90%, but he still threw for 4,694 yards, 7 short of 4,700, 306 short of 5,000 that he had just thrown the year before at 44 years old. At 45 years old, he still threw for nearly 4,700 passing yards. What other 45-year-old has done that? What other person in their 40s has thrown for 3,000 passing yards, let alone 4,500? Okay? Tom Brady can still play well on another team. And yes, I said Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II still be a great starter on a team. Could he go to Las Vegas and team up with Josh McDaniels, who needs a spark after what happened this year in Las Vegas? Could Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II to Miami? He could go there too with Tua. His future's uncertain. Could he come to the formerly known as the REDSKINS? Could Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II show up in Landover, Maryland and play at the FedEx Field where poopy water dumps on their fans? Could he show up there? I don't think so. I don't think that he's going to show up there.
What?
Said he's not coming to Washington.
What?
Not mother-fathering coming to Washington.
What?
As a fan of the formerly known as REDSKINS, he is not coming to Washington.
What?
I said that one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. Not mother-fathering coming to Washington.
What?
Stone Cold Sammy's getting tired.
Say what again? Say what again?
Told you. Sammy showed up. And with that being said, when you think about the career of one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II, there's not enough shenanigans that I can throw at you to prove my point. 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Yes, 25 touchdowns is the lowest amount of touchdowns he's had since his final year in New England. Keep in mind, his final year in New England, he was 24 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He had worse numbers in his final year in New England and still has been a part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the last 3 seasons. In his final year in New England, the last year he played, 60.8 completion percentage. He has 66.8% completion percentage this year, so he had 6% better this year than he did 3 years ago. He had 4,057 passing yards, which was almost 700 less than what he had this year. He threw for 1 more touchdown this year than he did at the age of 42 years old with the Patriots. And he did throw for 1 more interception. But who cares? He's 45 years old, Dwayne. When I think about one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II, can't say it enough. At least he wasn't on this side of the playoff tree.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
That's what when you think about everything that one person known as
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II
as meant to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization, and you put it all in perspective, you should be making some serious changes to even think about bringing him back in next year, but it's not. And you want to go ahead and bring Vince McMahon in to do this to Byron Leftwich?
You're fired.
Byron didn't deserve that. You had the wrong head coach there. You should not have had Todd Bowles as your head coach this year, because if you did, you would have had more success with one
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
Oh, yeah, you would have.
What?
I said you would have had more success.
What?
More success.
What?
Can't say it enough.
What?
More success.
Say what again? Say what again?
Absolutely, Sammy. I'm sorry, but I had to. I had to go off the rails for one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
I'm trying to gather myself. It's like 20 minutes of shenanigans. I'm trying to finish the show. Hold on. Okay. All right, Drew. I can breathe. I can breathe. I'm trying to get my words out. Time out. Okay. Oh. All right. Oh. Okay. First of all, why am I even on the show? You just carried that whole segment on your own. Like I'm behind the scenes, like trying to keep myself situated because it was time for me to come back on here. And I'm trying to get it out. Okay, first of all, okay. I got tears coming down my eyes. My contacts are blurry. Okay, hold on. Nobody wants to see that.
The shenanigans are in full effect.
Nobody wants to see Tom Brady go from team to team to team. Have some respect for yourself, Tom. Like, it's okay. Like I said, Tom Brady will always be Tom Brady. Like, it's even at 45, yes, he's better than probably 80% of the quarterbacks currently in the NFL right now. I don't disagree with you. But at this point, what are you trying to prove? If there's not a team that doesn't have the table that's set, well, all Tom Brady has to do is come down, say grace, and eat. What's the point? Because people are used to you winning. So the more we know you have all the stats, you solidified yourself as the greatest of all time. Now, if it's for the sake of love of the game, Tom Brady, I'm not mad at you. I mean, why not ride it till the wheels fall off? You know, you get old when you decide you want to slow down. But at the end of the day, nobody wants to see Tom Brady go from team to team to team, chasing football glory, or just happen to help out a franchise. We saw it with Brett Favre with the Minnesota Vikings. Sure, he was still some aspects of Brett Favre, but it wasn't enough to get them over the hump, especially going to a rival team like that. But that's besides the point. So don't get me wrong. Everything you said about Tom Brady was absolutely correct. And I think Tom Brady has a lot of football left in him. But at this point, what is there left to prove? To me, if it's the right situation, then okay. But if not, sail off into the sunset, man. You've done all that you can do. You've done all that you need to do. You have nothing else left to prove. Whew, I got it all out.
There was one thing that I will touch up on with what you just said, because everything you said was spot on, but there was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You said having respect for himself by jumping team to team.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have had respect for himself and his family, he wouldn't be back this year.
Oh my gosh. Wow, Drew.
Because it went to divorce court.
Wow. It was. If there's ever been a truer statement
about that.
If there ever was a truer statement, ouch, that was spot on. You see my face? I was like, oh, wow. Oh man. I thought we had shenanigans.
That was for you fans.
Oh man, that was good. I needed that. I need that momentum going into tomorrow.
Thank you guys for being here, for watching that, as well as Dwayne, because that's what inspires me to throw these curveballs out of left field to you guys. Keep you entertained. Now, before we go to the final round, because we've had so much fun with this bonus round, it's going to be hard to keep my composure for this final one because I got some things in my sleeve for the final one. But before we do, your boy's already got another show that he's part of. He's about to be a part of 3 shows a week. We've done 5 episodes of this show, as we just released on yesterday. Go ahead and check out this promo. There it is, you guys. The Sports Senseis Unleashed. The first 5 episodes are released. We are live on Mondays, 1:05 p.m. Eastern on the SDM Sports Radio Network, re-syndicated on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. You can find the latest on LegacyMakerSports.com. So everybody loves that intro, man. And got to give a shout out. I didn't even do that one. That was the one of the most legendary ones of the game, Cole Johnson, who is a Vault of Fame inductee as well of this show. Thank you, Cole, for that. But I wanted to show you this. I forgot to bring this up during the bonus round.
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw this back up here. But this was the one meme that I looked at last year when he came back out of retirement. This was the one I was talking about earlier.
Oh no!
So when you talk about this and him retiring after the embarrassing loss last night, and he thinks about this, there ain't no way a mother-fathering Heikes he's coming into retirement. He's coming back next year. Just don't know where.
Oh man, Tom Brady went home for a week and said, "Nah, I can't do this. I'm going back."
Just by saying this.
Oh man, that's rough.
But guys, that is our first 4 rounds plus our bonus round. We got one more round to touch up into. Let's take it back into professional wrestling for this final round of this show and see what we got in store for that.
Final round.
And here were the
See, there you go.
And here with the final round, Vince McMahon should appear on Monday Night Raw's 30th anniversary show like this and get the recognition he deserves. How do you feel about this one, Dwayne? Do you agree with the statement in place here? Are you in or are you out on this one?
No, I'm out. No. No. No, no, no. No, 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 and no again. Nobody wants to see you, Vince. Stay exactly where you are. You're lucky to let you back in the goddamn building. Do not show up nowhere near creative, TV, Raw, nothing. Stay in Stamford, Connecticut. Mind your business. Handle those TV deals. If you want to bring the network back, I'm okay with that too. No. Do not show up on my TV screen. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see your picture. I don't want to see your tribute. I don't want to hear your voice. I don't want to see your intro. I don't want to see nothing. Stay right where you are. You shouldn't be back where you are, but you are. That's fine. But as far as recognize, no. Stay away from Monday Night Raw. Stay away. No. No, Drew. No. No. No.
Regardless of what regardless. Oh, you did. You threw a lot of Dave Chappelle's nose, but I loved every second of it. It was great. Regardless, and you're gonna love where I take this. Regardless of what I've said then, now, and forever. I love you, the realist, but I have to disagree. I am in. Did anything in that statement say Vince McMahon should appear on Monday Night Raw's 30th anniversary, take over creative, and write himself back into the show? No. Without being a 30th anniversary Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon, there would be no 30th anniversary Raw had it not be for Vince McMahon. He created the Mother, Father, and Show. He brought this show to USA Network, then TNN, then back to USA, regardless of what he negotiated those rights deals as. Vince McMahon, as a character, not as a person behind the scenes writing the script, but as somebody who has actually been the architect of the show for many years before the downfall of it, but to establish what Monday Night Raw is. If he's going to come out there like Ric Flair and the others and just wave his hand and say, "Hi, I'm Vince McMahon," and that's all he's doing, cool. But if he's going to cut a 17-minute promo and then kick a football into Pat McAfee's ribs, then no. We've already seen that at WrestleMania. We don't need to see that again on Monday Night Raw. But if he wants to come out there in his suit with the ones in the graphic that I had showed you previously, which I'll bring up again, if he wants to come out there like this and wave, say, "Hi, I'm Vince McMahon. I don't care what you say, because if you disagree, I'm just going to give you money to shut up anyway. I'm going to come out here and say, "Hi, I'm Vince McMahon," wave to the camera, and walk away with the 6 Playmates of the month. And yes, that is Hugh Hefner with Vince McMahon's face that I put on there through Canva. Yes, I did that. Thank you, Canva, sponsoring SIRTOBA is media. SIRTOBA is real. Struggle is real to be awesome. Yes, I'm back here to tell you Vince McMahon should appear on the show tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night, but the next Monday Night Raw, because it's next Monday. A very special 30th anniversary Raw. We've already gone through last night. We had last night's announcements of the special matchups for the 30th anniversary Raw. But there's going to be some time taken up in segments by special guests from the past, like Ric Flair. The Undertaker will probably show up. You got some others that are going to show up. Vince McMahon needs to show up as a heel. Maybe fire somebody, kayfabe, who knows. But if that happens, I'm telling you, ratings-wise, if Triple H writes it and Vince has nothing to do with behind the scenes, we could see gold with Vince coming onto the show next week.
I don't trust him, Drew. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. No. I don't trust Vince McMahon anywhere near the product. Stay in the office. You twiddle some papers if you want to. I don't. Listen, they got the Netflix special. That's supposed to be coming back on. Like, let's not forget, you spent millions of dollars keeping with his mouth shut. Like, you're not off the hook, buddy. You may have retired prematurely, but come on now. No. WWE is in such a good space right now. It's the best space it's ever been. Triple H is getting the band back together. When 2000, I guess maybe 16-ish, 17-ish, when everybody came over, like, it was, to me, that was like the Super E. Like, people that you didn't think were going to be in WWE were finally in WWE, and I mean, they had almost everybody, and then they cut everybody in 2020. And I never thought I would see the day where they all would be back. Even Eric Young. Like, Eric Young's supposed to be reportedly trying to come back to WWE. Who saw that coming? I feel bad for Impact. Every time WWE, AEW signs somebody, Impact takes a dive. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. But anyway, I do not listen. We acknowledge Vince like Roman Reigns. We got video packages. We got documentaries. Vince, it's too soon, Drew. It's just too soon. People are still on edge. People are not really sure what to make of all this stuff right now, especially with him being back as sitting in the executive chair on the board at WWE. His presence is going to make people nervous. His presence has got people in there. It's like, I'll quit. He has TV advertisers. We'll pull the plug. We won't associate with WWE if this guy's going to be involved. Even if we do buy or purchase or sell, whatever the case may be, his services will not be retained. Because he's still too hot to touch. It's too soon. We don't need you to be a heel. That's what we got Seth Rollins for, okay? That's what the Hurt Business is about to come back for. We don't need any more heels. Not you, Vince. Stay away. Watch it from home with whatever honey dips you got waiting for you at your crib. That's your personal business. But we don't need you near the product. I listen, Drew. I've had my fair share of Vince McMahon. I don't think I need any more moments. He got Stone Cold stunned by Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. He's good. He can be like Tom Brady. They can ride up to the sunset together. They maybe go on vacation or something. I don't know.
So before I circle back to Vince McMahon, there's something you said that I want to touch up on. Do you think with Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin teaming up against the Street Profits last night on Monday Night Raw, that's an inclination that the Hurt Business is going to get back together?
Drew, come on, Drew. We've been doing this a long time. Listen. You know how we used to do in school, right? They used to give us context clues, right? Here's some. I'm sorry. I know this is probably for Keyfabe Express, but I'm going to drop some nuggets for you in around sports debate. There's always little subtle hints and nuggets that they do for television purposes to subconsciously tell the fans what they should expect. Right? I'll give you a prime example. When AJ Styles was doing this thing, he was on his own. He was known. He was wearing blue. Right? And then all of a sudden, the Good Brothers contracts were up. Right? All of a sudden, he went back to red. What was grossly associated with red and black? The OC. Long before you know it, the OC's back in the mix, right? Now, last week, all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley comes. He's been wearing black and red and all these crazy looking colors and red and gold, looking like Hogan. And all of a sudden, he comes out in all black. He comes out in all black with gold accents. Interesting. He meets with MVP. All of a sudden, MVP's making noise like, you know what? I've kind of got Shelton and Cedric kind of back on the same page. Think about it. Why are we celebrating Shelton Benjamin after 20 years? Now, don't get me wrong. Shelton Benjamin is one of my favorite wrestlers, but he's never been respected in the way that he should have been, thanks to Triple H. But if you think that wasn't for a reason, you got to be kidding me. It's because they want to make sure that they put a reputable name in there, and they have to remind you who the heck Shelton Benjamin was for the last 20 years, in all due respect. Then all of a sudden, they happen to be a tag team, and Omos happens to be outside with MVP during the Intercontinental Gauntlet match where Bobby Lashley actually wins. Not to mention MVP has already approached Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley made it very clear, hey, listen, There's no love lost. I haven't forgotten anything, but now it's not the time for us to do business. And MVP, no, by all means, he said it. Some mistakes were made. I understand that. But there's subtle nuances. Why all of a sudden is Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin a team? First, it was Shelton Benjamin, who all of a sudden was getting so much recognition on social media and YouTube. And then he still had a match on main event. It's not like he was on the main roster. He had a spot on Raw for a couple of weeks, but they gave him his flowers. Why? It's because they had to remind you how big of a deal Shelton Benjamin really is. Not was, is. And all of a sudden now the old man and the young man have made up, and now they in the ring with one of WWE's newest and youngest premier tag teams in the Street Profits. There's a new version, the Hurt Business 2.0 with added Omos is coming, and it's coming real soon. Bobby Lashley's only going to take for so much. He's on the verge of snapping. Not to mention he owes MVP one. He did get him reduced time from being fired to suspended. Business is business, and I think this is a little bit of Hurt Business going on.
I do like where you went with that, but just like a wrestling match, this show is basically, I set it, I serve it, you spike it back, and we go back and forth. It's like a volleyball match mixed with a wrestling match. As I set you up to deliver with that, that was great as a great way to end the final round as we talk about Vince McMahon appearing on the 30th anniversary Raw. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think about that. But before we get to that point, and we wrap up the final round, we do have to acknowledge DWAYNE has now made it back into the Vault of Fame again.
Acknowledge me.
That's right. When acknowledging the In or Out Sports Debates Vault of Fame, the real Dwayne Allen is now here for the third time as a Vault of Fame inductee with episode 74. When you look at the Vault of Fame leaderboard, he is now tied for fourth place with 3 appearances. When you look at Rob Johnson at the top with 13, Joey Raymond with 11, Mr. Rollback, Darrell Owens with 4, James Brown and Corey Mann tied with him as well. And the realist, Dwayne Allen, is now tied with Brian H. Waters, Cody Stewart, Michael Bish, P. Alexander Wally, and the Snowman Brian Snow for fourth place. And we have 12 panelists tied for fifth. You can check out the upcoming episode, as we announced earlier, for episode 75 next Monday, January 23rd at 7:05 p.m. Eastern for the 75th edition of the In or Out Sports Debate, followed by the following day, episode 1 of the Kayfabe Express at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time as well. You can check out those shows on LegacyMaker Sports Network on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, and the latest on LegacyMakerSports.com. The handles for the In or Out Sports Debate are listed here for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the audio platforms on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can download them individually on iTunes. The Struggle is Real to be awesome. You can find on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the new YouTube channel coming soon. The latest for The Struggle is Real to be awesome on SIRTOBA.com. As announced earlier, the Sports Sensays Unleashed you can find Mondays, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time on SDM Sports Radio Network, as well as Snowman Multimedia. You can check out the Sports Sensays Unleashed Mondays, 1:05 p.m. Eastern, episode 6 next week. If you want to throw a little tippy here, you can do it on Cash App. Donations are accepted for DWilly87. Cash.app/$DWilly87. Again, all of that aside, we are back for episode 74 with the real Dwayne Allen as we are here on the In or Out Sports Debate episode 74. Guys, we have gone through a lot all through the topics. We've only got a little bit left, and that is to mainly acknowledge what the fans have to say. Let's go ahead and see what they've got to say here for the final rendition of the Mayhem Culmination. Dwayne, we got more comments in the first half.
Uh-oh.
They have been lighting this unit up. Some interesting stuff that I don't even know if I want to touch base on some of this stuff.
Oh, no. I can only imagine.
We'll see. First of all, Latina and Callie came in with the hi, everyone. That's where I was giving a shout to her for her elderberry syrup that got me going through that COVIDian time. If I traveled through the land of COVIDia. Welcome back, Latina, says Ike doesn't give a fuck. And this is where it goes off the rails, Dwayne.
Oh, no.
I was the best to wear 74, Dwayne, says Melvin. Dwayne's like, yo, bro.
Would you please shut the hell up?
What he said.
Not only that, Stephen A's jumping in there saying this.
Stay off the weed.
Followed by Stephen A jumping in the background between us saying this right now.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous. How dare you? How dare you say such a thing?
Absolutely. Come on, Melvin. We don't even know anything about your career. Turismo, that can't be your real last name. Get that the father out of here.
It can't be.
Cannot. Ike doesn't give a fuck. Thank you. Cool name, by the way, says Latina. This is where it gets off the rails. Thanks, Legacy, as she was giving me a shout-out for giving her the shout-out for the elderberry syrup. Thank you, Latina. Heart emoji.
I don't like where this is going.
Hope you're doing well tonight. Ike, calm down over there.
Damn!
Ike leaving these comments like the Terminator saying this.
I'll be back.
Come on, Ike. You might need to take a cold shower, bro. Come back to the sports show. Ike says Melvin.
Nope.
Thank you, Melvin. I'm here, Melvin, says Ike. Yes to Kayfabe Express. So Ike did come back to Earth when playing that promo. But when it comes to treating my show like Tinder,
that's terrible.
Come on, bro. Come on. Get that out of here. Come on. Latina feeds back into it. I'm well, thanks. I hope you are doing well as well. I hope everyone affected by the natural disasters are being assisted and being blessed. Absolutely, Latina. Great way to fire back in with that at the end, because when it comes to what our friend Ike was doing,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Because they don't. They don't, dude. They really don't. And then Latina comes back with cool, I like music. Come on, Latina. Gets Vince out of here. You know, I got to agree with that. Vince needs to hear.
You can't handle the truth.
And wouldn't it be funny if Vince McMahon was hired by somebody else to fire himself?
You're fired.
Interesting twist.
What if they pulled him into an Yeah, it would. What if they pulled him into an office and on like what is that called? When you're not alive, like Tupac, and they're bringing him back. Hologram. What if they made a Vince McMahon hologram to fire him as himself?
I think he would like it. He'd be like, no, that's creative.
Just like that, Melvin Turismo says, I like Drew's take on Vince. Well, thank you, Melvin. It was interesting for the sake of debate and to keep things in a debatable fashion. I had to with my guy here. Vince McMahon is the GOAT. McMahon family, the GOAT, says Latina.
So is Tom Brady, but he should go home too.
Ooh.
See that? You see what I did there?
That's like somebody on the street getting in your face and saying this. Rest in peace, Sam Kennison.
Oh, man. That never gets old.
Nope. I love you, Latina, says Ike.
Here we go.
Oh, wow. Melvin comes back with, whoa, laughing emoji. Vince McMahon and his family are all very good looking. Easy on the eyes, says Latina. So basically, Ike, for you looking like a baby, she's calling out Vince McMahon. So our love show has gone in a different direction now. Ike, thank you with the cool emoji, says that. I wonder if ratings go down when McMahon is in charge because of the propaganda.
Something advertisers should worry about.
Chris Tucker's like,
Damn!
Mm-hmm.
But even though Bishop Bullwinkle has mainly been on my side, Latina, I think if Vince McMahon could encourage him to come back from the grave and pay him enough, he'd say that.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no.
Because just like this famous show from the 90s, it's not unusual.
It's not unusual to be loved. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. But when I see you hanging about.
Straight getting down with it. We've covered a lot in this show.
What?
I said a lot in this show. What? So much that I can't even retort.
What?
Sammy's getting pissed.
Say what again? Say what again?
Sorry, Sammy. Sorry, we had to. One last time on this show as we take it to the final word here in a second. It has been one awesome show with the real Dwayne Allen. Looking forward to doing it again sometime. But before we get into that, we got to go to the final word of the show and see what we got in store for that. And Dwayne, you know the deal when it comes to the final word out of everything we've discussed in this show. Anything in sports or entertainment in general. Whatever you got to get off your chest. Go ahead and take this minute there, brother. Let the world know your final word for this show.
You want a final word? Vince McMahon, stay home. Stay in the office. Don't leave the room. Just stay there. Put a seatbelt on your chair or something. Stay away from Triple H. Stay away from the product. Stay away from television. If you love the fans, if you love this behemoth of a corporation, of a business that you have sold your soul to for your entire life, do the right thing like Spike Lee said. Stay calm, stay put, do what you need to do as far as business is concerned, and ride up to the sunset peacefully. I appreciate what you've done. We all do. We appreciate what you've given us, but you got to know when it's time to walk away. And Vince, once these deals are done, and once the WWE is in the best situation financially it can be going into the future, I need you to walk away. I got nothing else to say. If you're not resonating with that, stay away, leave, don't come back, just stay home. I'm tired. No.
Before I give my final word, I would like to bring up a part that you did earlier in this show and sing a song with you when it comes to this man.
Let's do it.
You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away,
know when to run. That's all I got. I got
on that last part.
Oh, man.
And the interwebs wasn't working in our favor with that, but we were on the same point with that. And I'm going to go into my final word with this. You brought a great point with Vince McMahon. But this might be the last ever time, Dwayne, that I had the opportunity to talk about one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. I said Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
What?
I said Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. I know he's upset. I know Stone Cold is upset. I know Sammy's upset. I know all of you are upset, probably with the 27 times I've clicked that button in this show. I just really, truly feel, and this is coming from somebody who was a hater about one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. I was a hater on him before he left New England. Now he's with Tampa Bay, and what he's done with a team that was somewhat mediocre in the quarterback department before he got there with having Jameis Winston, he has the opportunity to go somewhere else and carry on with that legacy in his mid-40s. Someone who did better statistically at age 45 this year than he did at age 42 with New England, I feel like has a better opportunity to go somewhere else. It may not be Oakland, because Oakland has other holes to fill besides the quarterback situation. Because if that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't have what we had transpire with Derek Carr this year in Las Vegas. Because Derek Carr isn't a scrub. I'd still say he's a top 15 quarterback.
So when you think and pray and hope about one,
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
This is the extended version of the final word, but when it comes to speaking about
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
I never had this opportunity again, and I have to bring it to fruition when talking about one.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
Making my guy in the background cry so hard there's tears coming out of his eyes right now when thinking about one.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
Exactly. So when you put all that into perspective and you think about the legendary career, he deserves a 2-year contract with a good team. And I hope it's not Washington.
What?
I hope it's not Washington.
What?
Even though I'm a fan of Washington, I sure as mother, father, and hope it's not Washington.
What?
Sammy's getting upset.
Say what again? Say what again?
Sorry, Sammy. Because somebody's going to come into somebody's office when it comes to talking about one.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
They're going to hire Vince McMahon just to tell somebody, like they told Byron Leftwich today, that you are...
You're fired!
Sorry, bro. I know it's enough. People are like...
Would you please shut the hell up?
But up in my fun house, Bishop Bullwinkle speaking on my half for a night and saying this.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, to the no.
Sam Kinison is spinning around in his grave saying this. And I'm sorry, but when it comes to that, rest in peace, Sam Kinison for one. But when it comes to everything, speaking about the health of one.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
All the cucumber ice cream, everything he's done. The cucumber yogurt, everything he's done. The crazy diets, the rubber band workouts, not weights, but rubber bands. Everything he's done has got him to this point of being a 45-year-old elite quarterback. Can he do it at age 46? Yes, he can! Will he? I believe so. Even though he hasn't taken a hit like this.
Looks like Boucher knocked him out cold.
Because when you are the greatest of all time, known as
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II,
you see memes about yourself that look like this. You have to come back next year for a final rendition, not with Tampa Bay, but the greatest of all time, known as
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II.
Maybe coming back home to New England. I don't think so. I think that
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II
goes to Las Vegas with this meme on a t-shirt, repping it very well as he walks through those doors.
Drew, my friend, that was brilliant. I'm backing away from the mic so I'll interrupt you, and I'm just back here just enjoying it. That, my friend, was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I thought I had a good last word. I don't touch anything you do. That was unbelievable. Just the diatribe, it just flowed so well. It's like, I know he didn't rehearse all this stuff. He's doing this off the cuff. This is good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
You, sir, or master, you a pro. I had nothing to say.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
I'm trying to keep my composure because the first time I popped it, I couldn't get myself together. So I was trying this time to keep myself situated to let you get through. So I'm not laughing in the background while you was doing your thing, man. That was absolutely stupendous.
Thank you, Pat McAfee, for making that word even more popular than what it was before. But guys,
man,
we have covered one great show in this episode.
You're a liar. Liar.
What? Triple H?
What?
I said we covered one great episode.
What?
I said we covered one mother, father, and great episode.
What?
Even Stone Cold is questioning it.
What?
I'm sorry, guys. We did throw one hell of an episode. I'm going to leave you with one more thing before we roll out, because there's not enough of this that we can do that'll make us this. It takes legendary talent and not this.
But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We talking about practice, man. We talking about practice. We talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We talking about practice, man. When you come in the arena and you see me play, don't you?
Absolutely.
You see me give everything I got, right?
Absolutely.
But we talking about practice right now.
Facts, guys. Facts. Shout out again to the real Dwayne Allen, his brand, the TRDA brand, the Wrestling Realm, all of you out there, all of you fans who give your time and your energy to watching this show on a weekly basis. Thank you all. I appreciate you all. I appreciate the entertainment comments. You are what keeps this thing going. Thank you for being part of this special show that we are about to have 75 episodes of. But right now, in this moment, we have 74 with the real Dwayne Allen. As long as I wake up next Monday morning, we will have 75. But between then and now, I don't care about then, but right now, then thou forever. Sorry, WE, I'm taking it. But when it comes to now, thank you all of the panelists in the Vault of Fame, those of you returning, Dwayne being a 3-time Vault of Fame induction. I cannot thank you all enough, and I know this is an extended final word, but I have to because you all make this show what it is. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, fans, for the interaction, because it keeps me going and motivated to keep this going on a very intensely packed, as far as schedule goes, weekly basis. So thank you all for your patience, for being part of greatness, what you call it, but to me, it's just fun to keep it going. I appreciate the comments. We've got one thing left to do, Dwayne, and that is look at one badass outro. From my guy, Dwayne Allen, the real Dwayne Allen of the Wrestling Realm, I am Drew Willingham. I had to.
Well, for the road.
Everybody, stay safe out there in these streets.